With that, let's have our first founder kick off the pitch event. Welcome, Luca Zambello of Jurny.
Thank you for having me. Excited to be here. I'll go ahead and share my screen, and I'll try to keep the presentation simple and quick so we can have more time on the Q&A. So hi, everyone. I'm founder and CEO of Jurny. My name is Luca Zambello, and I'll give you a quick overview what Jurny is. Jurny is an all-in-one platform that helps property managers both in the short-term rental Airbnb market and in the hotel market to fully automate their operation. This is thanks to connectivity and AI. We're targeting pretty large industry, $4.1 trillion industry, and which has been historically pretty slow to innovate. And we estimate, and it's pretty labor intensive with a lot of the labor that can be now fully automated with a lot of these technologies. We've seen a lot of technology evolutions, but obviously now even with the rise of AI, but hospitality has been pretty slow to innovate. We're specifically targeting right now the Airbnb market at first to then expand to the rest of the market. And just on the Airbnb market alone, there's 7.7 million listings. And on average, an Airbnb host spends anywhere between 10 to 15 hours per week managing and running that Airbnb. It's a lot more labor intensive than people think. You may think there's just cleaning and answering some guest questions, but it's a lot more intensive than that. So Jurny currently today automates about 70% of that labor intensive aspect of managing an Airbnb. And how do we do that? We do that thanks to multiple partnerships with big brands like Airbnb, Booking.com, VRBO, and Expedia. And then we unify everything into a single centralized solution, easy to use, so that user can manage multiple aspects of their listing all from a single place. And then it's layered on top of with a very advanced AI and AI multiple agents technology that allows you to accomplish different tasks and automate different things, all from a single platform. And it makes it extremely intuitive and extremely easy to automate these things. Something that has been up until now extremely fragmented. And yes, so basically we layer on top of that with our AI is called Nia. Just this year, Nia has fully autonomously managed 170,000 reservations and saved on average anywhere between 650 to 806 hours per year per listing to our hosts. So that's pretty big. So users that have adopted our product properly have automated about 70% of their operation, but we have a target to get that up to 90%. So that could be pretty impactful. And just in the Airbnb industry alone, we see $112 billion opportunity. So pretty big. And here are some quick examples on how in what we bring efficiency. So obviously guest communication, managing guest turnover, managing tasks. And guest communication, for instance, like we bring that to sub 40 minutes, but we have hosts that spend almost basically no time on guest communication because it's fully automated. Pricing, listing optimization, and managing check-in, check-out process, review management, which also writing very personalized answers in a fully automated way is extremely important, not just for your reputation, but also for your revenue. Admin tasks. So all of these things are obviously, that's what we're automating, targeting the $12 billion approximately on inefficiencies. So not only we have major time saving, but also, as you can see from our NPS score being at the same level of some of the larger companies like Netflix, PayPal, and Amazon with such a complex system, it's very validating of what we're doing and how users see our system. So users love us. We've been all over the news, including in some of the latest McKinsey report about AI and hospitality, impact of AI and hospitality. We're recently hosted on CNBC, specifically to talk about the influence of AI and hospitality. So we're definitely leading the market there. And just this year, we won several awards as best property management software. So very exciting year for us. Backed by some of the top VCs in the country. One of the biggest ones is Macro Capital, but also Capi, Sus Venture, and Singularity Capital, which is a common VC from another startup here today. Pretty extensive, experienced team with background with some of the largest company, both in hospitality and technologies. Don't want to spend too much time here, but I'm happy to go in more details on the Q&A. And to wrap it up, we are raising a $2.3 million round. We put this together just the other day, but we're already at 1,715,000. So about, I think we have less than $50,000 in early bird terms left. And this round is really going to be mainly for growth, used for growth, small percentage for research and development and operational cost. So that's it.
Awesome. Hey, thanks, Luca. So let me shoot a couple of questions, and then Katie and Nick can, if they find more questions from the Q&A chat, they'll bring them in. So first question is, why did you start this company? What's the insight for you to start the company?
To give a little bit of background about myself, I actually got involved in the Airbnb space super early on, even before Airbnb was a thing. So I've been in the property manager for a long time. I scale and grow a pretty successful management company to 300 units across the US, 5 different cities in US. And I was heavily utilizing technology to try to automate and streamline as much as possible what I was doing, especially in the short-term rental business, Airbnb business. It's by its nature extremely fragmented business, because you're going to have managed multiple places in multiple different buildings and different cities. And so like you really want to lean in technology to help you streamline that. And this solution that I was trying to adopt, which are considered market leaders, like the Guesty of the Situation and so on, that even have raised hundreds of millions of dollars, have been really lacking in providing what I needed. Was very fragmented solutions, didn't work, poor integrations, zero use of automations and AI. So like really I had to start building a lot of technology myself, to the point that I said, hey, maybe I should take this problem head first and start building my own solution. And so that's how we got to Jurny. I made a 10 years story in 1 minute, so obviously.
Yeah, no, that's great. So what I understand is that you started off as a property management company looking to scale management of multiple properties across the US. Then you're building your own software, and then you've pivoted away from property management, and you're now a pure play software company.
Correct. That's exact.
And so there are, from what our study research has shown us, that there's 2 primary competitors out there, and to your point, collectively they've raised probably over $600 million between the 2. So it kind of looks like there's sort of a 2-horse race here. Where do you fit into that, and why are you different from them, and how are you going to acquire market share against sort of these behemoth companies that have all that cash to spend on marketing and rev gen?
Yeah, so that's a really good question. So at first I want to say the market is so big that even if they were a better solution than us, which they're not, there will be still like plenty of market available for us. The adoption of technology in hospitality is still somewhat early compared to many other industries. And one of the reasons it's actually been pretty slow is because how hard it is to adopt some of the solutions, like the Guesty of the Situations. I had to get I say obviously sarcastically, a PhD on the industry and on the different technologies that are available out there, just to understand how to properly use these platforms and train my employees to use these different solutions. With Jurny, we're changing that. We're making it so much more accessible, much easier. Everything is under a single dashboard, and everything is already integrated. So like activating the integration is just 1 click away, versus you having to broker between 2 different providers. So simplifying the whole game, and the fact that the last point is the fact that we use the AI, and we had AI in mind from day one. It meant that we built a system specifically with AI in mind, and specifically with an architecture that could support that. They didn't. So for them to properly adopt a technology like AI, they will need to do a complete rebuild, which they want, especially when they raise. Our biggest threats is probably company that are yet to exist, not them.
Okay, awesome. And then when you look at your segmentation of customers, I assume that each of these companies is going after a different segment. hospitality is huge, right? And you could think about hospitality across not just Airbnb, but hotels and lots of other sort of extensions of this. Who is your customer? How much are they spending with you each year? And what are you spending to acquire that customer? Can you help us a little bit with the unit economics of what that looks like for the company?
And our unit economics are changing drastically in a positive way because our average customer spends anywhere between $7,500 to $15,000 a year, which is okay, normal, not impressive. But we're launching, especially this year and early next year, we're launching several additional products that people can utilize on top of that. So, for example, just a couple of months ago, we launched an insurance provider that we integrated travel insurance, and that alone for some of our customers triple our revenues that we can make from that customers. And we have upsells coming. So we have several different additional products. Once you own a product, once you own a customer, once a customer is loyal to you, they're using you as their main operating system. There's so much more you can do where you can provide value to them, and obviously you can make additional revenue. So I think it's misleading to talk about numbers necessary today, although they're really good as they are, because we actually believe they can be profitable already early next year. So, and that's really not common, especially in early stage startups. So yeah, units economics are really good. And acquisition costs, again, we don't have much there because we have not been in the growth stage, and we've been growing organically, word of mouth, and we just started recently with outreach, and still we're growing pretty fast. So
awesome. And then I'll ask one more question and see if there's any other questions, and then before we move on to the next guest. So on churn, so are your customers are staying with you as long as they have an Airbnb or a portfolio of properties? Are your customers churning out because they're getting out of the business altogether, or what's the primary reason why they've stopped using your product?
So we have really extremely good retention now. That wasn't the case when we first launched, but that was simply because it was a brand new software and we had to fix our own issues. But today, really the only reason why a customer will leave us is because they're changing business model. They're not running a short-term rental operation anymore, or they got acquired by another company and are forced to use different software. So it's a really good business to be in because it's hard for people to just think of changing system if it works.
Okay. Nick, do you have any questions in the Q&A?
Yeah, so one of the questions oh, by the way, thank you, Jerry. Thank you, Luca. Those were both great. One of the questions from our VIP investors was, and I put it in the chat, is when is the product go to market and what strategy do you plan to use to attract more customers?
Yeah, the product is on the market. We're making revenue and we're close to be profitable and growing pretty quickly. This year we're really thinking Q4. We started in Q3 with a little bit of the outreach, and Q4 is going to be a much heavier quarter for us in terms of growth. We expect ELIs to be growing like 300 plus K per quarter. That's kind of on the conservative side, especially with the new products coming out. Again, huge market, right? Like, which it's easy to find a database of emails. That's what we're doing now for the outreach, and there's plenty of people that need our system.
Great, thank you. I'll jump in. There's just one more question from Tony in the Q&A section. How does Jurny's pricing model give it a competitive edge over the more established subscription models of Guesty and HostAway?
Yeah, I mean, there's a slight cost efficiency, although that's not what we're aiming towards. Like we are winning customers over them is in the simplicity of the product, more support, and the ease of adoption of the products. That's really where we're winning over tons of customers from them as well. Although we're not purposely going after their customer, that's how we're winning customers. Price, I think it's not as important when, there's customers that make like, anywhere from 50 to sometimes hundreds of thousands of dollars of revenue for one single listing. So spending $99 or spending even $150, it's relative to the value that you can bring to them.
Great. That's all our questions for now. So thank you so much, Luca.
Thank you.
Thank you, Luca. That was great.